The one main difference when you talk about sports to a typical CPG, sports isn't a commodity. It's more based on emotion. I mean, how emotional can you get over Green Giant, canned green beans or something of that sort? So sports, you really have to play on the emotion of the consumer. And 80% of the consumers purchase product based on emotion. Big thing is that sports, you can't predict. There's no consistency in the product. It's both produced and consumed at the same time. So when I'm going from a marketing standpoint or a PR standpoint, I'm not going to be able to say, come down and watch the Red Wings win, because I can't promise that. I can say, this product is going to taste the same every time you open it. So being that it's both produced and consumed at the same time, I tend to focus on the experience. All right, and then also, what are your most valuable assets you have as an organization? Well, for the Red Wings, it's history and tradition. We're going for our 20th consecutive straight year in the playoffs. But then again, people think if you have a winning organization, people are going to come. But I think the dynamics are changing. You look at teams such as the Florida Marlins, Tampa Bay Rays, all right, put a great product on the field every year, a decent to good product where they're in playoff contention, and they can't sell out. Why is it? All right, so you have to really look at the factors. A couple other things, you have to be a very consumer-centric brand. A lot of teams I find in the industry, sports, 10 to 15 years behind the times from a marketing PR standpoint, in that you build a winner, people are just going to come because we have a winning team. No, that's not the case anymore. It's how do you open up your brand to the consumer? And that's extremely important. So how do we make that transition from being a very brand-focused organization to a very consumer-centric type organization? The big question in social media right now is how do you monetize it? I don't know if there's a direct link to monetizing it. Today's generation is very consumer savvy. They've grown up in a world of marketing. They've been marketed to ever since the day they were born, from cartoons and cereal all the way through Disney channels all the way up. And so they're very smart, and they can catch on to the gimmicks of marketing. I have somewhat a different philosophy as far as using it as a push strategy, buy me, buy me, buy me. I don't think that's the objective. It's called social networking for a point. It's about building relationships. It's about building relationships with my consumers. So the way I look to use Twitter and Facebook and those channels is send out unique, relevant content and information that the consumer wants on their terms. Well, it's not always a buy me message, but provide unique content that they can't get anywhere else. Behind the scenes, interviews with players, humanize the players. How do we, show them what some of the tricks that are going on in the locker room, things of that. Information they can't get anywhere else where they can become peer influencers or peer leaders among their group of friends. And I think that's the key. You start building relationships. The money and the monetization will come at a later standpoint where they buy the ticket. Once they have an affinity for your brand and they feel in, well, then they feel there's a need to go there and they want to go there. And so that's what I think is the trick. I believe you have to understand what are the trends that are happening, all right? You have to separate the fads to the trends, all right? And so you look at it, when Facebook first came out, it might have been a fad. All right, but it materialized into a trend, and a trend is something that will stay forever. All right, so stay on top of all the things that are happening from a technology standpoint. Second, continue knocking on doors. Don't be shy. I mean, if you want the job, go in there with confidence. Say, I'm your man. I'm your woman. I'm the person that is right for this job. Demonstrate why. I think you have to put things on your resume. I get resumes, probably get 20 resumes a day. It's, well, I did this, but there's no results. I want to see results. Whether you volunteered for the Michigan State basketball team and in the marketing department to help sell tickets, well, what were the results? Yeah, you helped sell tickets, but how many did you sell? What did you develop? What strategy to develop to make it work? I don't care if you came from sports. That doesn't matter. I want you to be a fan, obviously, because that helps. But, I look for people from all over different categories, but they have experience and they've shown proven results. All right, they have leadership. They have confidence skills. You have to have the ability to be public speaking or just feel comfortable in your skin. Can't be shy. In sports, it's still one of those types of things where you have to have thick skin, all right? Because no matter how good you are, someone's there beating you down, all right? And you just have to let it go in one area out the other. And just keep going, just network, stay on top of current events, all those types of things, and be more universal. I don't care if you know the stats of every team. That doesn't impress me. All right, I want to know is how you're going to take information on what's happening in this world and how you're going to package it and develop to sell, how we're going to monetize it, how we're going to sell and drive revenue. We're a business. All right, it's all about ticket sales and it's all about corporate sales, so that's really the bottom line. People think, oh, you hang out with the players and say, ah, yeah, I mean, you do, you get friends with them, but if you're a jock sniff, you're never going to survive in this industry. That's the bottom line. Overall, I just want to get a message across that you can be successful in this industry, but it's hard work, dedication, networking, leadership, confidence. Those are the skill sets that you're going to need and make it in any organization. And you have to have the ability to work in a team and not be, you want to be a self-starter, self-motivated, but you have to work in a team environment. If you're out for yourself and only yourself to get promoted, you're gonna get pushed right out of the company. I've seen it happen millions of times, and it's all about, and really big things I look at is make sure your company's successful, make sure your brand's successful, make sure your team's successful. Worry about yourself fourth, all right? Because if those top three things happen, then you're going to be successful.
We have more PR tips on video at youtube.com/MSUPRSSA.